Last year, more people chose Trinity Health System for cancer care than any hospital in the region. But it's not just how many cancer patients we see that makes a difference. It's how many we send home to their families. And isn't that what really matters? Tony Terramana Cancer Center at Trinity Health System.
This is the Star Sportscast for November 8th, 2011. Episode 15, High School Football, Week 12. The Star Sportscast is brought to you by Damon's Grill and Sports Bar. Come to Damon's for happy hour, the express lunch, and to be among friends watching great sports action and see if you're good at trivia. Damon's is located at the Best Western University Inn along University Boulevard in Steubenville. Hey, welcome to Week 12 of the Star Sportscast. We're here at Damon's Grill and Sports Bar with our usual rectangle table, well, not a round table, rectangle table, with one of the round mounds of rebound. Brett Zableski, the other round mound of rebound.
Touchdown, like Jared Lorenzen.
Oh, Jared Lorenzen.
He split for the Giants. I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. Nice man by your
Kentucky,
Giants.
that's a team you can root for now.
Yeah, I still have them.
And by the way, Younts is in the running now for a new college football team to like.
Yeah.
So
right in the sports at Herald-Star online. Tell me who to root for.
Yeah, tell me who to root for. By the way, I'm Mike Matheson. I'm the maniac between the two. I'm the rose between the two thorns, actually. Yeah,
I have so many juvenile jokes that I can go through right now.
All you own are juvenile jokes. When you're a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, that's all you have. We have 3 games this week, playoffs. We got Steubenville Big Red taking on Cardinal Mooney, one of the best games in the state, at Canton's Fawcett Stadium. We have Glen going to Roane County Saturday afternoon, and Madonna going to Williamstown Friday night in West Virginia football. We will start with Fawcett Stadium, Big Red and Mooney. They know each other very well.
Yeah.
Mooney has the advantage playing Big Red.
5-1.
5-1. I saw the one. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But Mooney's had their number. One thing about Mooney, like we talked about, they're big on the offensive line. They really like to run the ball, and their passing game, at best, is mediocre. If mediocre is even that good. Who's going to be there? You will.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going to be at the sidelines of this game. Obviously, this isn't going to be fancy. This is going to be two teams that just like to punch each other in the mouth. I mean, they've developed quite a little rivalry here in the postseason. I know it's 5-1, but I mean, obviously, they always go right at each other. You have 2 very good defenses, two really good running games. I think Big Red has the advantage in the passing game, as you were saying. I looked it up, their stats this year, because somebody told me that Mooney actually had a better passing game than normal this year. They average 88 yards passing a game.
Yeah.
This is not a team that's going to light it up. They hit it occasionally on the play action pass. If you can force them to throw the ball, they're in trouble. Big Red stops the run well. I actually think that's an advantage for them. It's just a matter of, can they win the line of scrimmage this game?
Well, to that point, I was actually looking up their last couple games by Mooney, and they actually have 4 touchdown passes in the last 2 games. I don't know where it came from, and it's by 2 different receivers, so it's not like it's the same guy that's dominating whatever matchup he has. So you have to at least acknowledge it and give it a little bit of respect. Now, granted, the heart of that team is the running back Griffin, and he's going to run all over to whatever he can against that defense, because that's what's got him here, and that's what's going to try to get him to the next level. Then again, we have to run against that Big Red defensive line, which we have touted and gave all kind of accolades throughout the year.
They're pretty good.
They're good.
They're darn good. But what's surprising, looking at both teams, let's look at what Big Red did last week against Indian Creek. Yes, it was 68-13 by the end, but guess what? Indian Creek jumped out and punched him in the mouth.
Absolutely.
You cannot do that in week 2 of the playoffs. You can't do that. But then Mooney, as I've read up on him, is a team that's people have said is look like a playoff caliber team, and then other points they've struggled. So which of the 2 teams are you going to have show up right off the bat? Because whoever punches the other in the mouth first, let's see how they retaliate.
Well, one thing about Mooney is that they have one common opponent, and that's Ursuline.
Yes.
But you can't look at the fact that Big Red beat Ursuline and Mooney lost to Ursuline, because
Sports math.
Sports
Fred's
math.
favorite subject.
But that's a Ursuline Mooney is a rivalry game in a whole different atmosphere than Big Red Ursuline is. And people knew by that time there's a good chance Ursuline was not going to the playoffs with that death-defying schedule they had. So the one thing I look at, and we'll talk about Najee real quick, is the fact that half the field is now gone because they're going to stay away from Najee throwing the ball. You have to stay away from the Ohio State recruit throwing the ball. Well, if you stay away from Najee, okay, that's fine. But you got to watch out for that House kid, and then that LaShawn Luke kid, and then the Tayshawn Luke kid, and then
Petrella picks
off a pass like he did last week, just because they're trying to stay away from Naj.
Or the heart of that team, Fez, JoJo Hero.
Yeah, it's.
JoJo better learn how to wrap up a little bit better too. I noticed.
So defensively, Big Red just really promotes problems for the other offense. They promote problems because of who they have in those positions. And you can't. LaShawn Luke led the team in tackles this year, and he had 33 more tackles than anybody on the team. Hello.
And we don't even mention Tayshawn Luke, who's been on fire the last few weeks as he's really grown in his role as one of the outside linebackers.
And again, I think what it's going to come down to, though, is if either team is forced to pass, Big Red is better if they have to pass. Mooney doesn't want to have to. They want to be able to hit that play action pass. Big Red's defense can force Mooney to throw the ball, I think. Not that they'll absolutely do it, but I think they can do that. Marcus Prather in a 3rd and long situation is going to be much more dangerous than what Mooney's going to have to offer on the field. With the receivers they have, Petrella is really shown we were talking about. Petrella is shown to be an outstanding possession receiver. You have your big play threat in Najee, where just throw it. He'll get there, And then look at what JoJo's done out of the backfield with a couple of 80+ yard touchdown catches this year out of the backfield.
And plus, you've got House coming out of the backfield. Yeah. You got the tight end in Robinson, and you got
who caught a touchdown last week. Robinson did.
Exactly.
There's so many weapons.
What about the offensive line? Can we talk offensive line a little bit?
Talk about the big uglies.
No, I don't want to. I was just. We never give him any love.
Our player of the week, Mr. Camilletti.
Yeah, look at Cam. Look. He's the lone returning starter off that offensive line. The lone returning starter. Yes, it was at center. Yes, a really important position. But he's got people on both sides of him who didn't start last year. Granted, they got a lot of playing time because that's how Big Red does stuff. But when you only have one returning starter off an offensive line, and they have now done what they've done, they're averaging over 200 yards a game in rushing and over 100 yards a game in passing, and I'm not sure how many times Prather's been sacked, but it's probably been as many times he's thrown interceptions, and that's 2.
No. I just think the whole team in general, and we saw it firsthand on the sidelines last week, is the adjustments they make in game, even prior, once things break down a little bit, is fascinating.
There's no panic.
There is absolutely none. If they get down 14-7, they'll throw an onside kick like they did last week, and you just don't see it coming. It's amazing. If a kid's beating them up like Mr. Furter was at the beginning of last game, guess what? Your safety, who's now your starting cornerback, is shutting them down. It's just the adjustments all over on that front team, from the offensive line to the quarterback to the defensive line. They all do it, and it's impressive to watch.
As I was walking up along the sidelines Friday night, after an interception, I was listening to Anthony Pirro look at I think it was Tayshawn, or was this? I think it was Tayshawn who said, "You caused that by the pressure you gave on the quarter. You caused that interception." And so I think what Big Red's coaches do very well, along with a lot of coaches, but they look at the fact that not just who caught it, but why that happened.
Oh yeah.
And they just get so much pressure.
Cause and effect, baby.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember that.
It's a total team effort. Everything you see, it breaks down to everyone is firing on all cylinders. They're all doing what they need to do on that play. You're getting pressure up front or blocking up front, whichever side of the ball that you're on, and it all just comes together and they make plays.
Yeah.
They make plays, and if you're beating them with something, they figure out the adjustments. They figure out what they need to do to stop that from happening again.
And they have no problem offensively just pounding the football.
No.
None. They don't.
No. And they'll do it in a variety of ways.
Absolutely.
They'll show you all kind of different sets and still run the dive and still run the counter
they
and
don't.
pop you right in the mouth.
Most teams, you pull out the starting tailback, in this case JoJo, and you bring in the backup, you think, oh, I get a break. Then LaShawn Luke is cutting job, running somebody over.
Oh yeah, then they put in House as the blocking the blocking fullback.
Yeah, would you want to be the linebacker on that ISO?
And then afterwards they go home and celebrate with fried ice cream and churros. Hi, JoJo.
How's it come back to food? It's just unbelievable.
A sideline joke. Come on.
It was a sideline joke.
I know.
From the Central fans.
From you Central fans. Sorry, folks. Before we talk about the Oakland and Madonna game, we're going to bring in Matt from Damon's because he still has the best line of the season, like 4 weeks ago when you weren't here. Matt, come on in, buddy.
Wait,
was better when
if
you
I
weren't
wasn't
here.
here, did it actually happen?
Yes, the tree fell and we heard it. So relax. Matt, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fine, fellas. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. What's going on?
Well, we're pretty excited. It's come down to the wire in the college football season, and so a lot of great games on tap this weekend. We have Nebraska against Penn State. That'll be a pretty exciting game. A lot of ancillary stories associated with that.
A little bit of tension.
A little bit.
Maybe that's the wrong word to use. I don't know. Anyway, that and NHL action and everything going on. So this is the time to come on down, enjoy the sports on the weekends. Pretty soon we'll be starting Thursday night football. We have new daily specials going for both lunch and dinner. Homemade soups every day. So great time to come on in. And we're having Indian summer now, but when it's going to be cold and wet before too long, and take a break from the weather and come on inside.
You said cold and wet, not yet, man.
No,
just
no,
enjoy.
I-
Plus, you got some good NFL games on Sunday.
Excellent.
Steelers playing the Bungles.
Wait, what's
That
good
is-
NFL? I don't watch it every
Can you believe that's a
weekend.
huge game?
That Steelers Bengals is a big. You believe that Steelers
Yeah,
Bengals is a big game?
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and the Steelers are looking up at the Bengals. So
That's even more amazing.
we're in an alternate universe this year.
The Browns are looking.
The
up
Browns
to
are where they
everybody.
normally
Getting
are.
more depressed. So to speak.
Anyway, come on in. We'd love to have you all. So take
Thanks,
care.
Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Yeah, Thursday night football starts, and I got to watch my pathetic Chargers and my pathetic North Turner lose another football game. Just
I don't want to hear it.
Giants,
I don't wanna
2-game
hear
lead
it.
in the division. That's
I don't want to hear it.
oh, sorry.
Do not want to hear
Sorry. Okay, we'll go to Roane County. Well, you get to go to Roane County.
it. Are you? I
Yeah,
don't
he's
know.
going to Roane
the Chirpas
County.
are taking me by donkey through the mountains.
Ride the wildebeest out there.
We got Oakland going to Roane County. Oakland's coming off the bye week. Their bye week is always week 11, which obviously is a good thing because you get to rest kids before playoff. And I think the other good thing is you kind of get to play what if when it comes to looking at teams, getting ready to game plan who you want to play against, and early indications were they were going to finish ninth and play Roane County, and that's who they're playing. Finish ninth and going to Roane County. Look, it's not so much about Roane County, but about Oak Glen. Lucas McDowell's a stud, just stud. Jeff Hissam, all he does, like Chris Carter, is score touchdowns.
Don't
And then-
kick to him.
Yeah, well, no, go ahead if you want to do that.
Well, Roane, you can.
Then you have Tyler Steed and Dylan Davis, and then you have Delecta, and then you have Josh Weltner, and you have the big uglies up front with Preston Murray and those guys who've done a really good job. And I understand the 9-1. I understand the teams they beat were 15-75. I get that, but a lot of those teams were really good last year. They just happen to have a down year this year. Oakland did what they were supposed to do, won the games they're supposed to win, and now anything can happen. Anything can happen. And you still got to like Oakland's chances.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously they can only beat who was in front of them. It wasn't like they planned that 9 teams would have bad years. You know, Magnolia would come off the state title and go 5-5 as your best win. But it's time. This is big boy football. You're in the playoffs now. You got to take that big line, that great running game, and that occasional pass for a touchdown to Hissam, and you got to put it down Roane County's throat this week. They have the ability to do it. I think they're okay. They had a bad game against Indian Creek. I don't think this Roane County team. I don't know a ton about them, but from what I've seen, they're not as good as Indian Creek, so they don't have that same worry going into this game. If they can come out, get behind that big line, McDowell can just grind some yards out. And like I said, if Roane makes the mistake of putting one punt or kick in Hissam's hands, that's probably a touchdown. It's going to be tough to beat them. They're going to be a tough out.
What interested me looking at both these teams is they're very similar in the regard that they haven't been overly successful in recent years. So they're both kind of dipping their toes back in the playoff waters. And for like a team like Roane County, which actually consolidated a few years ago, this is their first home playoff game they've ever hosted.
Okay.
So it's going to be a completely different type of feel for them.
Yeah.
Something brand new. Oakland gets to come down and experience that. And I'm sure it's going to be pretty wild. So we'll have that type of angle towards it. But what's nice about having that extra week of preparation like Oakland has what we call tendencies in football.
Yeah.
Mr. McDowell's right-handed, and Mr. Murray at right tackle. Where do you think they like to go? To the right side. So maybe, you throw in a little something else to break those tendencies and throw Roane County off the trail a little bit. Overall, I think, McDowell's the X factor.
Yeah, he
I mean,
is. I agree.
he's so hard to defend any which way, because he can run that well and he can throw the ball very well, despite not putting up the gigantic numbers that some of these quarterbacks have in this area. So we'll actually see, I think, something new and something different come out of this game than what we're accustomed to, like when you compare like a Big Red Mooney, who's,
Right.
where this is coming every year.
Yeah. The other game Friday night is because Glen's game is Saturday afternoon, 1:30. Friday night at 7:30 at Williamstown. Madonna, number 15, goes to Williamstown, number 2. Madonna is beat up. That's just bottom line. I'm not sure if Combs is going to play. I haven't heard that yet. But we know Osman is out. We know Christian Rowe is out for sure. So your 2 starting running backs are out. They lost last week to Clay Battelle, 31-6. And the injuries happen. Injuries happen in football. That's just part of life, and that's just the way. But if they happen to the key people at the wrong time, it just hurts you immensely. It happened a couple years ago to Madonna, when the starting quarterback Sal Connie had a torn ACL, and pretty much he tried to fight through it, and then AJ Klein got hurt, and Max Nogue broke a wrist, and watched them in the state championship game against Williamstown, just with the depleted roster. Well, this is what they have again, and not like Williamstown's going to feel sorry for them. No. The Yellow Jackets really don't care. I think and it's just a tough hill for Madonna.
Well, injuries certainly happen, but you're right when it's wrong time, wrong place. Because let's face it, Williamstown is a very good football team.
Yeah.
They've won all 10 games, okay, and there was only once they lost or won by less than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're rolling teams this year. Now, what you have to do as Madonna, because you have to change pace, you have to look what you have a quarterback now. It's going to be trying to run the clock. It's going to be a lot of quarterback options, a lot of zone read. Yeah. Keep that ball in your offense's hands. Take the time off the clock and see what you can do against a very good football team.
Yeah, you definitely want to shorten this game as much as possible. Play hard-nosed defense. Madonna has a very good defense. Even with injuries, they're a solid defense. Clay Battelle played well against them offensively, but they can shut a team down, especially, though, if they can grind out, get some first downs, get that clock moving. Because, Williamstown is not a team you want to get healthy against.
Yeah,
Playoffs
exactly.
isn't the best time to get healthy anyway. But to do it against a team like Williamstown, who's thinking we want to be in Wheeling at the end of the year, that's a team that has been thinking that all year, Wheeling or bust. So Madonna's going to pretty much have to play their best game of the year. Some of these kids that we haven't been hearing from are going to have to come up and make some plays, and hopefully they can pull something out this week.
Let's give Madonna some credit in this regard. It's a very experienced team. Yeah. They've been on a wonderful run the last few years. So the guys that are going to be stepping in aren't exactly neophytes to this situation. They're going to be able to play, and they're going to know what it's like. So hopefully that they rise to the occasion when called upon.
Yeah.
Neophyte. That was a good word.
It was. I don't know what it means.
I didn't have to look that one up because I actually knew what that one meant.
I don't know what anything he says means.
We know. I fully understand that.
know.
I fully understand that.
Dictionary.com. It's very useful.
I know. I use it after every show.
Depends on what you say, really. We go from there.
I have trouble with the, so
I'm good at what I do.
Oh, jeez, help me. Just please help me. By the way, trivia question before I forget, which is easy for me to do. Email your answers to sports@heraldstaronline.com for a gift certificate to Damon's. But the very simple trivia question is, what was the score of last week's Big Red game? Just that simple, that easy, against Creek.
Good, because I don't think we said it.
No, you actually said it.
Okay, I didn't think I gave the whole score. I thought I just gave how much Big Red scored.
No, I think but
either way, they can figure it out.
It was a lot to a little.
It's called the intranet. You can look it up.
Intranet?
Yeah.
And whatever you say.
The internets.
I'm going to Walmart later on tonight.
All right, one more thing about the Big Red Mooney game before we get out of here, because it's time to get out of here. I think this is Mooney in a nutshell. They've run for 3,700 and plus yards, and they passed for about 1,000 yards in 11 games. So
what you're telling me is there's a chance they might throw it.
Yeah, I think they maybe twice a quarter.
Again,
maybe.
Good. That means the game will be over quickly.
Force them to throw it. Give them a lot of 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 12s, 3rd and 7s.
What do coaches say? Make them throw when they have to, not when they want to. You can do that to Mooney.
Wow.
An hour and a half game.
He said something good.
I'm still trying to figure out if he screwed it up yet or not.
You won't know until you watch the replay.
Oh, that's terrible. See you next week. Isn't that a fact? This is the Star Sportcast for November 8th, 2011. I choked that one.
You should leave that.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabe.
Awesome.